Try to do a video here for everyone to just go through some of the really important settings in Google Meet. If you've practiced Google Meet a couple of times, like I believe all of you have, if you've had students on Wednesdays during your open Google Meet meetings or during your appointments, as per individual teacher preference, then for the most part, you're ready to go. But there are a couple little things that you're going to want to get ready for that are synchronous specific. So I'm going to go to my Google Classroom. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Meet link here. I'm going to get everything set up. As a teacher, obviously, you want to keep your mic on, to keep your video on. When the students come in, their video will be on, but their mic will be off. Let's go ahead and get this joined here. If you would like, you can hit copy adjoining info. If at some point you have a little bit of trouble getting some students in, you can send them a direct email and it'll get them in there. It's a little bit more complicated, but definitely will work. Let me go ahead and turn this off and save you guys. All right. Top right hand corner are all options that you guys are used to. The bottom panel has a couple little different additions that you definitely want to be aware of. Let's start in the bottom left hand corner. I'm clicking here. Here's that aforementioned joining info, copy joining info. If you forget to do it during that pop-up or if you need it. Mute, leave the call. Make sure you leave the call once all of the students have left. Camera on or off. Let's go back here to host controls. There's two ways to get to the host controls. It'll show up here in another minute or so, but you want to be very purposeful about these. The quick access, it says everyone who isn't invited must ask to join. Please keep that on. By everyone who isn't invited means people that are not inside your Google Classroom possibly, or if they're trying to use a different email account for whatever reason, just leave that quick access. It says when turned off, everyone who isn't invited must ask to join, including people in your organization. I say leave it on for easy use. If we have some trouble with some unwelcome guests, we'll plan accordingly and take quick access off. Sharing, you don't want to let everyone share their screen, and you don't want to have students send chat messages unless both are important for your lesson and you are very adept at handling those two things. So if you go, yeah, I don't even know what that means, or I'm not very comfortable with that, turn them off. If you think, you know what, I'm going to leave them, I'm going to turn them off for this lesson because they don't need to do that, but we have presentations on Friday, so Friday I'll allow them to share their screens, but I'll send the chat message off. And obviously those are just some quick toggle checks. You go to view host settings, it just adds some information about audio and video, which are not necessary if you're using the Chromebooks. Just like the students, you have a raise hand function. When that is clicked by the students, bottom right hand corner, something will pop up, and I do believe that there's a notification that happens up here. It might even be a good idea to turn captions on, at least during the point of quick instruction or longer lecture times, to ensure that the students get what they need visually, especially if they have some audio issues. And it will also help some of our EL students to really see the English language as it is spoken. It'd be very beneficial to them and for a myriad of other options here. The Present Now function, let me turn that off. The Present Now function is something that many of you have already used, and you've seen it in use multiple times. I always click your entire screen, but what I do is make sure that there is nothing on my desktop, there is nothing in my browser that I do not want students to see. For instance, if you have EduStar up with somebody else's grades and you click Present Screens, you don't want to show everybody somebody's grade. So if I go to your entire screen, you got to click on this thumbnail. That's why that share was grayed out and now it isn't. And that'll allow you to present your screen. In the More options, a lot of the options that are available on this bottom bar are available here. There are options to record your meeting. I would only do so if you feel it's necessary. I don't necessarily believe that recording, as of right now, recording your meeting and then posting the recording for students to consume is the best idea, unless you feel very, very comfortable with that and the content that has shown up on the screen. Changing your background, this is an option at the beginning when you start your Google Meet. You could be as fancy as you want. You could be as boring as you want. You can even make sure that you blur your background. Don't hesitate to really just try any of these, and bear with me here. That blurs a little bit of the background. That blurs a lot of it with a little bit of ghosting here. And if you want to get real fancy and hope this summer that some of us can head to the beach, you can do something like that. Totally up to you. And the more options, change layout. This is an important caveat. I always pick tiled. And with our student body, I'd probably pick 30. That way you see all of the students on the screen. Spotlight is a good way, good to use if the people are presenting to you. I would recommend that you guys recommend to the students the Spotlight view when you are instructing. That way they're not looking at all of their friends. They're looking at the person talking or presenting the screen. Sidebar is handy if you have a couple of people in there and you need to see the screen as well. Play around with those. There's no harm in flicking back and forth to figure out what is best for you. It's going to take some practice, but probably in a couple of minutes you'll be comfortable with those things. Probably with a couple meets down, you'll be good to go in regards to feeling somewhat comfortable. The big thing is to figure out how your instruction is going to change, because high quality instruction is what we're getting towards and what we're trying for at all times. And any changes to how you guys have to present and create your artifacts and maneuver your learning objectives will cause some delay in high quality instruction. So the faster we can get to that during these changes, the better off we'll all be. Don't hesitate to call me, text me, email me if you have any trouble.